Welcome back to Forged by Failure. It's been a hot minute. For the last 2 months, I've kind of stepped away from playing Helsmiths. I ended up playing some Disciples of Tzeentch in March at a GT, some Kruleboyz in RTT, and most recently Nurgle at a Teams event. But I'm back, and I'm here to talk Hellsmiths. In the next couple of months, I'll be videoing my journey to getting ready for the GW Open Edmonton with the faction you're here to hear about, the Helsmiths of Hashut. So today I'm going to talk about why I was wrong. Specifically, wrong about the Taar Grand Forgehost Army of Renown being the competitive ceiling for the faction. So we're going to take a look at Domination Force, how it's placing at GTs, and a couple of the GTs it was placed at, and one specific list at the Grand Clash this weekend. So before I stepped away in March, Hellsmiths were about a 41% win rate. They're pretty low on the faction win rankings, and that Taar's Grand Forgehost Army of Renown was really the competitive option. It gave you that raw power output and then the recursion you needed to keep yourself within games. And I thought, okay, if that's going to be the way this faction plays for a little bit until the new GHB, I'm not particularly interested because I wanted to be able to have some Bull Centaurs, I wanted a combined arms force, and I didn't want to play with Army of Renown rules. I wanted to play with the main faction's rules. But fortunately, I think people are proving me wrong, and there's great options to run other battle formations. So let's take a look at some recent tournament results. Okay, recently, you can see at the Wartilyo Grand Tournament, which happened in the Philippines, April 18th, Hellsmiths came second out of 33 players with a Domination Force list. The one we're going to look at today is a grand tournament, the Grand Clash in Quebec. A Domination Force list placed 8th, and other Hellsmith lists had great placings as well. And then you can see some top 3 finishes across the globe at various GTs with multiple builds. So it's not just the Army of Renown that's winning, there are other options that good players can make work. All right, let's take a look at the list that was used this weekend at the Grand Clash. So, Domination Force, a couple things. First, it lets you count as double your health characteristic for you powering through or opponents powering through on you, which is huge for Taar and the Demon Smith on Taurus because they can pretty much power through on anything vice a Mega Gargant. And specifically, it will prevent other cavalry from powering through on your Bull Centaurs, although if you've been charged, they're probably dead anyways. And it prevents power throughs on heroes by other things that are almost equivalent or just higher than their wounds characteristic. But I think really importantly, it just gives you that reassurance that Bull Centaurs can power through on things with high levels of health, so specifically infantry foot heroes or high health foot heroes, as well as I said, Taar and the Demon Smith on Taurus running around. So this list placed 8th at the Grand Clash. Grand Clash is over 100 players. This is a great placing. Come from Loic. If I pronounce your name wrong, my apologies. But let's take a look at the list and see what's it's got going on. So it's a Domination Force list. General's Regiment is Taar, and then a reinforced Infernal cohort with Hashutite blades, a cohort with spears, and a cohort with spears, so the generating demonic power points. Next regiment, which I kind of termed the Hammer here, which has got a lot of the killing power in the army. A Demon Smith on Infernal Taurus, so overdrive switch, +1 to hit within 9 inches at the cost of ones to hit equal mortals. An Eye for Weakness to help those Bull Centaurs wound on 3s in combat, or to help your infantry wound on, it would be 3s in combat as well. Scroll of Petrification to assist yourself if you're going to have a double turn against you and save some of your key pieces, or a key piece rather. Duststreaker Rocket Battery for long range fire, anti-monster, and that Tormentor Bombard to help turn off commands and do some chip damage against cavalry or infantry. And then the last regiment is an Ashen Elder, so Priest, access the prayer lore, +1 to Ren, crit mortals for things in combat, can be used for the blades and the spears as well. And then 3 units of Hobgrot Vandals to go help with desolation of terrain and generating demonic power tokens. So it's interesting. This list, if you look at the regiment structure, you've got your demonic power point generation out of the spears to help supplement your core point economy. We've got that regiment of hammers, And then you've got the Hobgrot Vandal Squad for cheap objective play, screening, and generating points if you need them. So let's take a look at how this list kind of breaks down in terms of point variation and point usage. So about 720 points of the list is put towards grinding out on objectives and kind of keeping your list competitive and within the game. So keeping yourself ahead or at least equal to your opponent on primary. 670 points right now is allocated to what I would call hammer units or damage dealing units. And then you've got your fire support, about 270, and then 330 points for mostly Desolation Generation. It's lumped the Ashen Elder in there when I asked the AI to help build the slides. But essentially, you're looking at 210 of screening and PowerPoint generation out of those Hobgrot Vandals. So it shows that a combined arms force, which is how I want to play Hellsmiths, can be successful. You have the tools resident within the army to make a go of it, especially at this tournament against other great players. Now, all the credit in the world to the player who ran this, because it's a very hard army to run, but I think it's quite interesting to see that you can run a combined arms force with Domination Force and still get great results out of it. And for me, I think why I prefer this force over the Grand Forgehost, and it's going to come down to that flexibility aspect. So you're locked into certain units with the Army of Renown. Specifically, you're not taking another Demon Smith on Taurus. I believe you're just taking Taar, and you can't take Bull Centaurs. You get raw power as the game goes on, so essentially you're getting crit hits, critting on 5s, a bit of +1 to cast. But you can't bring in the bulls, and you can't have that flexibility. And you lose access to demonic power points. You need to generate them through spears. So you got to run a lot of infantry, but you also get recursion out of it. Domination Force, letting you count double wounds for power through, it's strong. But I don't think it's the end-all be-all. Like we said, other results have run different battle formations. Industrial Polluters is another good one. But it still lets you take that flexible army, which I think was what most Helsmiths of Hashut players want to play. We want to play with bulls. We want to play with the war machines. We want to put something that's combined arms together on the table. So I think if you look at it, probably having that flexibility matters throughout a GT more than raw output. It helps you if you hit matchups where you need screens. You're going to hit matchups where you need the Bull Centaur's flexibility. You need those Bull Centaurs to go and erase something. They get erased in return. But you need that Demon Smith on Taurus to maybe help them pull back if you get the double turn and let the Bull Centaurs recharge something else. So overall, happy to see great results with this. Happy to see the community doing well. And let's hope that this continues as we go through the rest of the competitive season into the next GHB. All right. So what does this mean for me? I mean, let's look. I'll be real. I was wrong. I thought the Army of Renown is the answer and the only way to play it. However, happy to be proven wrong and happy to see other things doing well. For me, I'm probably going to take a Domination Force list to the next GT at the end of the month. So stay tuned for more of that in terms of